So how do we go deeper? What does it mean to go deeper? Deeper does not mean going deeper than what is, per se. But the willingness to see what it really is. Okay? What actually is happening. Let me give you an example. How many people, for example, who live from the human alone, not the being part, identify with every thought and every emotion that happens? They identify with it immediately. There's a negative thought, they feel negative. Immediately. You see? They do not see, now what is? Right now when we look at it. What is a thought? A thought. But we don't see it as a thought, we see it as a reality. Do you understand? That's what going deeper means. See? Going deeper, for example, an emotion. You get an emotion. And a strong emotion. Most people feel it first thing in the morning. Some might be going to bed at night. Or during the day. So you get this strong emotion which has come about from the way you think about yourself, about the image that you think you are, about your relationship to life. So what happens is, you identify with the emotion, but you think it's reality. It's your reality. So, looking deeper means this. See it for what it is, actually is. And it takes you deeper automatically. Okay? This means that you see an emotion as an emotion. Here's another thing, how to look deeper. How, throughout the years, I do hypnotherapy. I call it supersentience. And I've never had anyone ask me a question with what. They always ask it with why or how. Most of the questions start with why. Why is this? Why is this happening? Why do I do that? Well, how do I do that then? How do I achieve it? Did you know that asking why and how is an avoidance of truth? Why am I suffering? Why is this happening to me? Why do I have to be like this? Why is life like this? You think you're asking, but down deep, you don't want to know. You want it to go away, but you don't want to look at it. So you ask why. You see? And most questions start with why. Seldom do I get somebody who says, instead of asking why is suffering, they say, what is suffering? Ah. Now we've moved deeper. You see? How, for example? We ask how. You know that how, psychological how, okay? Do you know that the how is a responsibility to love? For example, how many books have sold very well, psychological books? How to make love, how to have a great relationship, how to be friends with your wife, how to do this, how to do that. Do you really need these books if you have love in your heart? It's irresponsibility to love, so we ask how. About 20 years ago, Dale Carnegie came up with a book called How to Make Friends and Influence People. And it was a bestseller. And it was so popular. And and yet, when you read it, and it was beautifully written, it was great. And then no wonder it sold so well at that time. But when you read it, it's mundane. It's all surface. Be good, agree with other people, be kind, be compassionate. But you see, they don't tell you what these things really mean. What they mean is you, the being now. The being is compassion, is love, is peace, is joy, is happiness. The being that you are. You see? In this very moment. That's called looking deeper. Seeing deeper. See? So now we ask, well, if we're going to not ask why and not ask how, what are we going to ask? Ask what is. That is something the mind doesn't want to ask. The ego simply doesn't want to ask it. Because then you have the responsibility. You have to face yourself. You see? So, let's go back to the question, why am I suffering? Okay, stop. What is suffering? You see? And then when you look at suffering, you come back to the personal. I am suffering, you're not. I am suffering because I take everything personally. Because I am defending and protecting an image that simply does not exist. You see? You've taken it deeper. So that's what it means, to take it deeper. Now, we're talking a lot about going deeper. What does it mean to go deeper? Again, looking at it from a different vantage point. Now, I can give you 4 levels of going deeper. Now, please remember, these 4 levels are just to help us. Don't memorize them and say, well, this has to follow one after the other. But this is just to help us. Okay, first, when you see a person acting out from the outside, whether it is rage or whether it is envy or jealousy or even violence, or whether it's depression, it doesn't matter what it is. Anything that's happening on the outside, there's only one reason for it. We have to look deeper. What is deeper than that act? You see, we live in such a surface life that the moment somebody is angry at us, we're either upset or we fight back immediately. That's called surface living. That is shallow living. What is deeper than that anger? A feeling of sadness. It is that sadness that causes all these acts. And these acts come out according to the personality of the individual. If a person happens to be very external, very outgoing, very bombastic, then of course they could become violent physically. If a person if a person is quieter, is a more introvert type of person, then they become offended, hurt, and they keep it inside. You see? But the outer circumstances are irrelevant at this point. What is happening is that there is suffering because you're looking shallowly. What is deeper? There is sadness. There is the feeling something is lacking, or something is wrong with me, or I'm missing something. Which is, of course, is a lie we tell ourselves, because nothing is ever missing. You see? So, but then you ask, what is deeper than sadness? What is deeper than sadness? Now we go into the 3rd level. What is deeper than sadness is a need to be whole. A need to be whole. But as long as you have a need to be whole, you can never be whole. It's just like you have a need for love. Everybody has a need for love. You see? But then you're telling yourself, I need love, therefore I am not love. I need to be whole because I don't think I am whole. You see? So therefore, what is deeper than the need for wholeness? What is deeper than the need for wholeness? Wholeness itself. And that's why you want it in the first place. You see? Wholeness is there beckoning. So you've taken it all the way to its depth. Now, wholeness itself. Wholeness itself does not create the surface circumstances you find yourself in. But it got there because you didn't know you were whole. You see? Now what does it mean to be whole? Because it sounds very good. W-H-O-L-E sounds great. You know what whole really means? It means you're spirit. It means you're nothing. It means you're emptiness. It means you're a being. You are just energy. You see? Not that it's kind of scary to the human. You see? This is where the human and the being have to really get together here. You see? And then you'll find that when they get together, they integrate. That's the whole person. Because there's another part. People say, well, I'm going to live from being now. You see? And then they deny the human frailties, the human negativity, the human this. They deny that. And if you deny the human, you're in worse off condition than before. You see? Because you're separating again. The point is never to separate. It's to accept whatever the human is and take it back to its zero denominator, which is wholeness itself.